Dave Canales gives off vibes of somebody like, have you heard of these people that sleep like 2 hours a day and just it doesn't affect them and they can just like their days are just longer than ours? And it's seems a little unfair. It's like, wait a second.
Nice.
Yeah, you're telling me I got to sleep for 7-8 hours and you're just like taking a little cat nap and you're back up and productive. Canales gives me the vibes of someone that like has more hours in the day than most. He's just energetic all the time. It better be the case because he's spending a lot of time and a lot of energy on the non-football stuff of being a head coach. Here's what I mean. There's an article, I think it's on ESPN.com. Matter of fact, I know it is. I read it this morning, about Canales' leadership style. And it sounds like to me he read a leadership book and is taking everything all the way to the 10th degree, right? Make everyone think they're important, Chapter 6. Canalis, reportedly, the first day that players reported to the facility, he was in the lobby greeting every player individually and had been studying headshots, pictures, like you know what a headshot is. I don't know why I'm trying to explain that. 8x10s of every player. So even the ones he hadn't met or didn't know or had no previous relationship, they could walk in and he would greet them by name right away. That's a lot of time. It seems like that could be solved with, hey, I'm Coach Canalis. And then they would say, nice to meet you, Coach. I'm Shy Tuttle or whatever it is. Like, nice to meet you, Coach. I'm Xavier Woods. Like that would be the whole thing would be taken care of. You wouldn't have had to cram like you're studying for an 8th grade math test, trying to memorize your equations. But that's not it. Canalis had this quote in the story, and I'm going to read it to you because it's I don't even know how you would come up with this. Canalis on life stories. I want to hear a guy tell their story. It says a lot about their self-awareness. It says a lot about how they can achieve their goals and how quickly they can achieve their goals by being able, really systematically, in an organized way, to tell their life story, where they've been, the hardships, when the light went on for them. End quote. Imagine your head coach is like, hey, how's your day going? You're like, pretty good. He's like, no, start from the beginning. You're like, oh, well, breakfast was pretty solid. No. Start from the beginning. Where were you born? And pick it up from there. What were your grandparents like? Like life story, coach? Now, here's the part where I emphasize, if you have unlimited energy, do it. Right? If you can seriously think every player on your team has the energy, the time, and you can consume their entire life stories, who picked on them in elementary school, what was their favorite subject in middle school, their first girlfriend, what's their relationship with their parents, like if you want to go through all of that, great. But they're like, head coach in the NFL is not I have a lot of free time job. There's a YouTube video, and I watched it a couple years ago, of a day in the life of Sean McVay when he was a new young head coach with the Rams pre-Super Bowl. This dude was getting to the facility at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he had already worked out. And he wasn't leaving until everybody else's lights were out. Like this, it's not a 9-to-5 job, and that's just the football side of things. That's just scouting and play design and getting ready for practice and all of those things. Dave Canales better legitimately be some kind of superhuman, never stops being productive guy if he's taking the time to do these things. If you have that kind of energy, good move, go for it, right? Like if you can, you can. But you also don't want to hit like week 3 and be like, no, I'm running out batteries.
Well, I think Dave Canales is a battery in and of himself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he really
I think he plugs in USB every night.
It better be 100% legit. Because being an NFL head coach seems exhausting. Seems awesome. I think a lot of us would love to do it.
The thought of it sounds exhausting.
Sounds exhausting. If you add in, I want to know everything about every player. Mm-hmm. I want to sit around and memorize little important aspects of their life. That's just another thing.
Well, I think this is the time of year to do it because, I mean, we're not breaking down any game film of anything right now because you haven't played anything yet. You're not in training camp. There's no mini camp coming up. If you're going to do it, now's the time to do it because after this season, you're still going to have,
now's
40?
the time to, like, get your feet in sand somewhere and recharge a little bit.
But that's also part of it. It's like, you know what? Let me get to know. I mean, even if it's just an hour sit down with your guys.
Oh, no.
Okay. Like
I agree if you can pull it off. But an hour sit down with your guys right now that's 70 hours.
Okay. There's a lot of hours between now and a month from now.
I'm if you can pull it off, I'm for it. Like you're a better leader if you know everything about how these guys tick. It just the football has to be the priority. Don't be like, I'm not going to be able to get to third downs today because I just had a cry sesh with my backup fullback. Like we bared our souls to each other, so we're gonna have to push off red zone work until next Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be doing this like week 7 as we're preparing for whomever. It's like, all right, we're about to travel to Germany to play the Giants, but let's.
Yeah,
but again, this is why you do it.
It's a long flight. Backup tight end sitting next to me.
Yeah.
I want to know what your relationship is like with your siblings.
Do that stuff now.
It's just
take the
funny.
time. Do that stuff.
I just can't imagine like Belichick or Andy Reid or some of the best guys being like heart to heart sesh. Let's hammer out some of our deepest darkest. You know what I mean?
Well, eventually, if the roster turnover isn't going to be that drastic every single year, so he's not going to have to do this all the time.
I feel like if you asked, let me pick like L'Jarius Sneed, like tell me everything you know about Andy Reid. It's going to be like, dude likes cheeseburgers. He's really hard to stop in practice. He draws up some really tough plays. And, he's got a mustache. Like that's kind of where it would go. And it just doesn't seem like that relationship suffers because of it. But, again, if you can do it, I'm for it. Just don't put that over other things.